Still got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Pull
You still have like 5 minutes.
Yes.
your screen just a little bit more toward it.
Yeah.
The screen itself, just pull it a little this way. Here.
Oh, yeah.
Show us instead of more of the ceiling. You see us
Gotcha.
now. There.
Yeah.
Pull up the agenda.
Hey, we should get some headphones. We could be like doing a talk show.
Show, yeah.
Doylestown Township Live.
Frick and frack.
DTL, Doylestown Live.
Here comes Barbara.
Okay.
Oh, there's Rod.
Hi, Donna.
Mhm.
Rod,
How are you?
good. How are you?
Okay.
I'm trying
Surviving.
to get it so you can put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Surviving is about right.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Fred, have you been down your beach house?
I have.
Oh, good
Yep. I intend to be down this weekend too,
for you.
if only to continue cleaning.
Yeah, I'm going down tomorrow to paint and coming back, so I'm not there this weekend. When you're retired, you go, if you're ever in a traffic jam going to the shore, it's your own fault.
I don't think there'll be traffic jams this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't
Think?
know. Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a free-for-all in Ocean City.
I think
Where
it
are you?
is.
Yeah, where are you, Fred?
I'm in Seattle.
Yeah.
I was just gonna, I
Where
was
are you?
just gonna
Yeah.
say Ocean City is known for their, what did you call it? I'm sorry.
Free-for-all?
A free-for-all.
Fred, where's your place in Seattle? I'm at
We're-
88th Street.
We're down on 34th, right by Central,
Gotcha.
where it gets narrower down there. I believe you're up and around in the 80s?
88, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wide open up there because it's right at the inlet.
Yeah, did you get erosion, beach erosion? Did it go that far up?
We get it. Oh, yeah. Haven't been down there. I don't know when we're going to get down. So I suspect we did. Yeah. We get it every year.
Yeah,
It's the ocean.
yeah.
It does what it wants to do.
And the Corps of Engineers comes in every 3 years and tries to correct it.
Thank God for the Corps of Engineer. Otherwise, we'd be in the water.
Barbara, how do you get on the island when you go down?
me,
Which
let me
end do
try
you
to
go
do-
in?
Oh, I go in Garden State Parkway. Get
So
off at exit 17.
Does that come in the middle of Sea Isle?
Yeah, well, you get off at Sea Isle exit and then you just drive up. But Sea Isle exit's like 44th Street.
Yeah.
I just make a right and go up.
So that Kevin, he was taking part today.
Atlantic City Expressway, the Garden State Parkway.
Yeah, because that's your 40 blocks up though, right?
Yeah, but that's okay. It's not a
Not too
long
bad,
40 bucks.
yeah.
You can
It's not bad coming in. It can be tough coming out sometimes, though.
sometimes. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta know when to go.
Yeah.
Not this weekend.
It's not supposed to be very nice weather, is it?
You never know. It's the forecast says not, but half the time at least, they have it way off.
Yeah. It'll be there.
It will.
Maybe not 100 years from now, but next weekend or
Our house will be beachfront in 100 years or less.
Well, I am beachfront and I'm just hoping to stay beachfront.
Yeah, I
Go
hope.
underwater.
I hope that as well. Well, if we had any good engineers around, you know.
Kevin Green's joining.
We're experts with water.
We're
Two shots, not just one, two.
Hey, everybody.
Oh,
Hey, Kevin.
if Keith would take that mask off, we would be happier, or at least put it on.
Yeah, you look like you have a beard.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you look like your hat like slid down over your face or
Rich
something.
McGee's coming in.
Hey,
Hey, Rich.
Hello, everyone.
I had an interesting Zoom meeting experience yesterday where the board of directors went into an executive session to debate something and deliberate on a hearing, and they were deliberating, and halfway through it, someone realized that there was a newspaper person who had gone into the private room or had been taken over. I think he was dragged over to the.
oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, there's some unhappy. I don't know what the news person's going to do with, because there was pretty significant discussion with this solicitor about a particular ruling.
Oh boy.
Like,
Oh boy.
Zoom is it's neat. It's neat.
How
to
did
have
that
the rooms.
happen?
Well, the main meeting was in the big Zoom room, and then one of the executives moved the proper people over to the other room, in the Zoom room, and must have moved them inadvertently. And he kind of identified himself at one point, but it was pretty deep into it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Rod,
Fortunately- Yes, Don.
Rod, excuse me. I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
He wasn't talking about anything important.
Yeah, ever.
Okay, Dick Box on. I think you have everybody that you're expecting, right?
Just put the volume up a little bit. Okay, everybody, Mr. Bach is here now. So we are going to bring the May 21st meeting of the Doylestown Township Municipal Authority to session.
Here.
Donna, do you have everybody accounted for?
I do.
Okay. So the first topic on the agenda is the minutes approval from the April 16th meeting. Is there any comments with regards to the minutes?
Yes, Joe, I want more specificity under the language for the executive session, which is at the end of the minutes. I gave Keith earlier today language basically providing that Executive Director Keith Haas provided an update regarding the pending litigation involving Doylestown Township Municipal Authority versus Plumstead Township and North Wales Water Authority, Bucks County Court of Common Pleas, docket number 2020-00325. I recommend that be included in the minutes and that the minutes be revised.
And if I may, since we're revising the minutes, I noticed that it says that Rich did not attend the executive session. I also did not attend the executive session.
I can add that in. The reason why we specifically put Rich in is because of his association with Plumstead. So I didn't know whether it was, but we can certainly change that. And then Keith, you and I can go over those changes. I didn't write down everything.
I have them.
Okay, okay. But I can change
With the
it.
changes that
I have a
that were
question.
requested.
Rich, can you send to Donna the information as you would like to have it?
I can, yes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yep, thank you.
So with the amendments to the minutes, does anybody else have any additional amendments or changes?
I would move to approve as amended.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next
Thank you,
item.
Kevin. Who second?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ready, Donna?
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the bills list. Is there any questions or discussion with regards to the bills list?
I'd move to approve.
If we have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it.
Keith, do we
Treasurer's
need,
report from May 21st.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we need somebody to come in and sign? checks?
Wouldn't mind coming in tomorrow. That'll work. And I'll get a third signature as well. Maybe I'll get Mr. Chairman, Mr. Bach to sign the checks as well.
Okay, I can be in about 10 o'clock.
That works. Yep, thank you.
Okay, back to the treasurer's report. Any questions or discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report as submitted.
Seconded by Kevin.
Yeah, why not?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay, let's move on to next item, item D on the agenda is a authorization to waive the 10% late payment penalty for first quarter bills. I'm going to let Keith just give a quick overview as to where we currently stand regarding collections and the recommendation as to why we want to push this back.
Yes, hello, everybody. So just to recap, we sent out our first quarter bills about a week later as we decided some processes and methods that we could be as fair to our customers that potentially were impacted by this economic shutdown. So we did a couple things. We gave our customers an additional 2 weeks to pay the water bill. Typically, we give 4 weeks. This time we gave 6 weeks. As well as we also have now, what I'm asking for authorization is to waive the 10% penalty that it's typically applied to a late payment. So, for instance, if the bill is $100, then we tack on a $10 or 10% penalty. So during the course of the bill collection, at one point we were almost $100,000 in arrears for this quarter, which is a sizable amount. It's almost 20% of what our total bill was for the quarter. Those extra 2 weeks really did help. For whatever reason, we had a lot of late payments come in, those extended 2 weeks. And upon analysis, we see that we're about 20% higher for this quarter compared to normal past quarters for delinquent accounts. Upon further review of that, it seems that this is directly attributed to the commercial accounts, which makes sense. So what I'm asking for is that we get a resolution to waive the 10% penalty for customers if they pay by the end of the second quarter, which is July 31st. If at that time we can discuss what we would need to do, whether it was to reinstitute the penalty, but you know, we're all hoping that things get a little bit back to normal and that our customers are able to pay again on time. So I guess that would be my my request for the board.
I have one question. How would we formally notify? So I think I'm in general, I'm in support of that. But what I'd be curious about is two things. One is how would we notify those customers specifically? And then also how do we advertise that to let people know that we're in it together and we're trying to help?
So once we get approval, we would update our website as well as our social media accounts through the township, Facebook. Try and do it in a tasteful way there that shines us in a good light. And to answer your first question, if a water customer is past 30 days due, our system generates a automatic letter out to those customers, and on that response letter, that letter will say, we will agree to waive the fees if payment is received by July 31st. So they will not get a bill with the 10% automatically built in like they would do in prior quarters. So,
So it's neat and clean then. Okay.
So Keith, you're saying that the next bill to the both residential and commercial will show that they have a period of time to be waived, but it will not show the actual penalty if they don't pay?
so they will not get another bill. What they get is a reminder letter that they haven't paid yet and that we will not be instituting the 10% penalty. So I believe the second quarter bills will go out July 1st. So we will probably show some sort of, I'll work that out with Quan, but we won't show a penalty there that second quarter until July 31st is the end of our second quarter. So then we would start reinstituting those fees. So they will get one more bill that does not show the 10% penalty.
I think that makes sense. Some of the commercial, and you indicate that a very high percentage was commercial. If you drive up North Main Street, all the automobile dealers are back in business selling so that they are back to, and I had to get one of my vehicles inspected yesterday. The service department was a mob scene and it took them forever to do what I had to have done. So I would say that and looking at that and the other signs, the commercial people, other than some of the stores, are back in business, the larger ones, which will, to me, would work effectively with what you are proposing. And I would move to approve this, as you have stated on this form dated, whatever date, 5/15.
Great.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the waiving the 10% late payment fee from the first quarter as long as the bill is brought up to date by the second quarter payment. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, is everybody all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, so it's passed.
Thank you. I think it's a good thing. I think there'll be a lot of customers that are very appreciative.
All right, so our next line item deals with the reduction in the letter of credit with regards to the Doylestown Executive Quarters. Take a look in your packet. There's a memo from Keith dated the 15th stating that DBD Realty is requesting a reduction. This is a property that's located over on Lower State Road near Route 202. And it's the third and final of the three buildings in the project. Keith is stating that reducing the escrow from $41,330 to $20,000 is more than sufficient. Keith, anything else you want to add to that?
No, it's a project that has lasted a few years, but the buildings were installed and built in phases. So we're getting to the home stretch here of this project. We've worked with the developer for the prior two buildings, and we have absolutely no problems so far with what's been going on. So I would recommend that we reduce that letter of credit.
So is there a motion on the floor from anybody to move forward with the reduction?
I move to go forward with the reduction to $20,000 as indicated in Keith's letter of 5/15.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next line item is regarding the bid to move forward on servicing the South One tank. I know we've talked about this on several occasions during prior meetings. And actually, if I remember correctly, the group that we're looking to move forward with came in at a really spectacular price compared to what Keith and Fred originally thought that thought this was going to cost. If I remember correctly, it also deals with the time of year that they want to do this. It's a
Right.
slower time of year for them. So it's going to save us a significant amount of money. You want to add anything to this?
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is the inspection portion of this tank project. If you'll remember, we bid out the construction of this tank painting earlier in the year. We awarded the contract to Worldwide Painting Industries, and they are now going through the process of getting us submittals, and we are basically starting to plan the project out. They are going to be starting in September at our request. That's past our high demand season, and we requested that they start in September. So what this professional proposal is in front of you is a tank painting inspection proposal. We do not have the expertise nor the time to sit and watch our tank painter paint for 8 hours a day. So I am proposing that we hire a tank painting inspector, third party. The pricing is on page 3 of the proposal. It should come in around $20,000 to $25,000 for to make sure that the contractor abides by the rules and the specifications of our tank painting. Now you may ask, well, why is it, why are we getting this, executing this agreement so early? Inspectors generally run about 3 to 4 months out. So you have to align up your inspectors that far in advance. So I want to be safe and get this agreement tied up and get them on our schedule to inspect this tank painting. So this should be it until we hear from construction in September and October, and we start paying all the contractors.
Keith, what is this as a percentage of the total?
The bid came in around I think around 170,000 if you factor in the alternates. So probably a little more than 10% of the proposal. Now keep in mind that they estimated 30 days for daily inspection. Our tank painting contractor, they are in verbal conversations with them. They think they can get it done in 2 to 3 weeks. So this is I would say a very generous pricing summary. So we only pay per day that the inspector is on site. We do not pay the lump sum pricing or line item pricing that is in the description. So
I think
it should come in a little cheaper than what's shown there.
I think it's an excellent idea. I think the idea of having from Keith, from what you know about MUMF, Mumford, Workman, as long as they appear to be a accepted contractor, it makes sense to have someone watching the work rather than having the guy doing the work telling us what he did. So I would say it's an excellent move that we go ahead with this. You indicate that their proposal was $28,250. I think is a very worthwhile addition. That having the tank done properly will assure that its term of use will be much longer than if there were a problem. Things like depth of paint, I think, is critical in the interior of a tank. So I would make a motion that we approve this contract with MBA for $28,250 or whatever the final figure is, because it indicates that there's a daily fee, not a flat fee at that estimated cost.
The only comment I would have is, in the proposal, they say, over the course of the project, upon completion, MBA will submit daily inspection reports with details about the work enhanced. These will be compiled and forwarded to you approximately every 2 weeks. So theoretically, I guess if they do it in 2 weeks, they could send us a report and all the work would be done. Do they have will they raise a red flag if during that whenever they start doing the work, if there's an issue, they'll raise a red flag versus waiting just to furnish us?
No, I think it's so easy now that their reports, they can just email us either every day or every other day. I don't anticipate that would be a problem. I think what they're talking about is like kind of field notes, what the contractor did every day, maybe what issues he ran into. So, but I'll double check with with them on that to see what can be done.
Okay.
So,
What about any guarantees to us putting out the money to hire an inspector? I mean, if in the event something failed on the back end with regards to paying something that lasts as long as a warranty, et cetera. I mean, it's
I think
sort of like it's an insurance policy.
yeah,
Right?
I think the only insurance policy we have is the 1-year performance bond through the contractor. And I think in their project management here, they would come out and assist us with the year inspection. So it's very hard to pinpoint the inspectors for the problem. If from what I've seen in the past, if there is, then that inspector is not getting hired again. So that's much, I don't know, maybe Fred, if, you have your inspector, Fred, what's your culpability there or something like that? Ah, you're muted.
The contractor is always ultimately responsible for his workmanship. So if there's a problem with whatever construction it is, it's up to the contractor to make good on that. The inspector's job is really to identify any potential problems as they're occurring in the field.
Right, so as I was saying, I believe we have a motion on the floor for Mr. Bach to move forward with the contract with Mumford and Associates in order to oversee the project management for painting the south tank. There's a second?
Second.
Is everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So moved. Next item on the list is regarding the consideration of a motion to execute the CS Davidson located at 315 West James Street in Lancaster, the professional services to provide the geographical information asset management mapping service. Basically, it's plotting out our water distribution system, mapping it out. And Keith, you want to talk about the process involved there and this vendor?
Sure. So not only is this a mapping system, but it's going to be an asset management tool. So that we have, picture it as a big filing cabinet worth of information. So we're going to be able to click on a point within our system and see when a particular piece of pipe was installed, when's the last time we did maintenance on a hydrant or on a valve. So it's really it's called a geographic information system asset management tool is what DTMA is starting to establish. Right now, the township has an engagement with CS Davidson. They are underway with their data collection and inputting as well. They are monitoring roadway, street signs, storm sewer. So I am looking to get DTMA as a layer in this master system. So it's a very good firm. If you look at page 1 of their proposal, you can see what myself and the guys in the field and Fred we use now is this, what's called original CAD map. And basically it's a old CAD drawing with a bunch of dots, that parcels that you're not familiar with. So once we're done, we'll be able to see a map based on some Google Earth features. So it'll make it much more easy for myself to pass along data to Fred, for our operators out in the field to quickly and efficiently get data to any customers that have a question, any developers. So I'm really excited that we're about to embark on this. The first phase is taking our original data that is in this CAD map and converting it to this new mapping system for what we have established right now, which is, I think, pipes, fire hydrants, and valves. So it's something that we can get started on, and I'm real excited to to embark on it. So I think Rich was talking to me a little earlier. I guess he just had one question. He's going to hold off. If we're all okay with the authorization and the motion, I think we'd like to get it maybe conditionally approved, Rich, and maybe you can go into more detail about that.
I wanted to defer formal action on the contract as submitted because there's boilerplate language in extremely small print that really doesn't apply and is not applied to this situation, nor is it acceptable to me. And I spoke to, I guess it's Mr. Good, the principal, today with Keith, and I expressed that we need to simplify this language to make it fit the actual proposal. And he was in agreement with that. Several of the provisions just don't make sense and are confusing. So I would recommend we not approve this particular contract. So it gives me time to essentially revise the boilerplate, I'll call it the final sheet, to make sure it makes sense to what is being proposed.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any thoughts or comments? I can certainly bring back the agreement next month and let CS Davidson go here.
I think Rich's comments make sense. We do have looking through their statement, their scope of service, and then looking at the price that they're quoting, it seems to me that that's an awful lot of work for that amount of money. I realize that they evidently, from what you said, they are on site working with the township, which should give us a reduced rate than if they were just coming on their own. But at the same time, as Rich says, we need to know exactly what it is they're going to do. If they're going to start with the original CAD map, that's fine. But the question is, what have we done since that map, and have any of the sites shown on the CAD map, are they no longer applicable? Has something changed? So I think Rich's comment is correct that we should not proceed until we have something more firm in language is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
So why don't we just table this till next month?
Yep.
Just go
Yep.
work with Rich, get the contract wording
Sure.
worked out.
We can do
Unless
that.
there's somebody that objects to, moving forward with the mapping of the system, which I think is a good idea to finally bring ourselves into the 21st century here with regards to keeping track of the entire system and the age of different sections. It's going to help us from a budgeting standpoint as the years go by so that we can have some good data when we have to start looking at replacing and updating sections of the overall system.
Yeah, it'll be an excellent first piece in a planning tool, and as we progress here into the future, Fred and myself will be bringing you the pertinent points that this asset management can parlay into future. I don't want to get in the weeds right now, but it's a very important first step. So I'm pleased to be hopefully engaging here with CS Davidson. So, and you're right, Mr. Chairman, that it's a lot of work, and they're giving us a good price, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're already engaged with the township. So yes, absolutely. So we'll table this till next month.
There wasn't a new business. Does anybody have any topics they want to bring to the floor before we move on to old business? I'll take that as a no. On the old business, we got a update on the water main extension in the Pebble Ridge, Woodridge area. Keith, you want to talk to that a bit?
Yeah. So you'll see the memo that was included in this month's board pack. And I'll let Fred give a recap where we are and where we think we may be going to get a decision on this. Go ahead, Fred.
Okay, well, there's probably three important points in Keith's memo here as far as initiating the project. The most significant is the last one, number 5. Toll Brothers was going to contribute about $850,000, both in a contribution plus their tapping fees towards this project that really make it financially affordable for the authority. As Keith mentions, Toll Brothers is looking to start work in September, maybe, and in any case will not commit at this time. So I don't think we want to proceed without the Toll Brothers contribution to the project. So that's one and probably the most significant issue involved. Working your way up, number 4 has to do with Doylestown Township and a paving contract that is currently out to bid. I believe, and again, this is whispered down the line, but the township took bids in the April timeframe to do paving of that area, generally between Old New Road and Woodridge Drive. And those bids were rejected just recently, and the project is going to be rebid, maybe the scope slightly revised. So the project is affected by that in as much as that if paving is going to be done by the township this year and it affects roadways where we're proposing to put water main, then it kind of forces the authority to take some action one way or another. Finally, the first item, we did get a 60-day extension from PACT, so their bid is valid until July the 15th. I don't know that that's an absolute deadline. I believe that if we go back to PACT sometime in July, due to uncertainties in the 2 prior factors we discussed, I think PACT would be more than likely to extend their bid another 30, 60 days beyond the July 15th deadline. So at this point, there's probably no action that's needed by the board. I believe Keith intends this more as an update, but we will be back to you as some of these things become resolved over the next month or so. As we see what happens with the Doylestown Township paving bid that comes in, we'll be in contact with Toll Brothers to see if there's any more certainty that they can put to their construction schedule. And based on those factors, we may want to go back to PACT Construction, the contractors for the proposed water contract. So that's my brief update on the Keith's memo.
So I had a discussion with Keith about this during the week, and I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. So one of the things I had discussed with Keith was taking a look at the project and backing out the funds that we were looking to receive from Toll Brothers, and take a look at how much DTMA was originally going to put into the project overall. In the event that Toll does back out, there's still part of the project that we might want to move forward with, and we should be prepared to discuss and vote on that probably next month. or July the latest, only because there are sections of the project that are being completed on the sewer side that the township is looking to get some paving done. I think Stony Lane Circle is one of those areas. So we can't necessarily delay our entire decision, even going out possibly to July. So I think we should be prepared next month to possibly dissect the project and come up with maybe some metrics for approval, maybe a stage 1, stage 2, stage 2 being if and when we got confirmation Toll Brothers goes forward. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea. because you-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was just saying, I
Dan.
think it's a good idea because you don't know what the status of Toll Brothers with all this delay and stuff. You don't know what they're going to do.
Our original proposal was for Wood Ridge and Pebble Ridge. And we then added down New Road and also through that cul-de-sac. I don't remember the name, don't have the map in front of me. So it would make sense if we look at reverting to our original plan to do Pebble Ridge, Wood Ridge. Since we have an estimate for cost there, we could work that in conjunction with the Doylestown Township paving project. The other thing that I kind of see as an interesting point is that Toll Brothers cannot proceed with their project if we do not come down Lower State Road. They need water from us coming from Bradford Road or Brinker Drive, coming from Brinker Drive to Lower State Road to connect to their project. So I think we should make sure that Toll Brothers is aware that if they are willing, if they want to proceed, that they have to be aware that they cannot proceed without our water.
I think there is a plus side to this. In conversation I have both with Stephanie and with Keith, Toll Brothers is moving forward with getting all the necessary permits. So even though they've pushed back a decision time till September, I think it's definitely a positive. I can't see that they would spend the money on getting the permits all lined up and paid for if they didn't intend on moving forward at some point with the project.
Yeah, that's correct. In the discussions with Toll, there's been no discussion at all about terminating the project. So that is I look at that as a positive. So what I will do is I will talk more with Dave Tomko, the Director of Operations, and I'll get a more better feel on what roads are going to be paved this year as opposed to next year. And we will just continue to coordinate with him and if we are going to do a road like Stony Lane Circle, we'll just have to do it this year. And whether we do it with our own funds or a contribution from Toll, and if we don't decide to do it, then hey, that's an option too. But I think we do have a little time here. I know Dave's putting together a plan of bidding and when to start paving these certain roads. It's not all of them this year. I think it's Woodridge and Stony Lane Circle is what it impacts this year. So it's not every road yet. So we do have options.
And again, back to our very first proposal for Pebble Ridge, Woodridge, we approved that. We had the funds available to do that, so we could go forward with just that part of the project.
Correct. We could do Stony Lane Circle, Westaway Lane, and maybe we add Willow. Those were the 2 to 3 roads that were always the genesis that the residents that showed the most interest in this job. And then the ancillary benefits of a potential interconnection, eliminating more dead ends. That is what precipitated out of that initial, I guess, the idea for this water main extension project. So yes, you're 100% right, Mr. Chairman, that Stony Lane Circle and Westaway Lane, we do have signed contracts from roughly 50 to 60% of the residents. So, I'll lay that all out when we go to vote or in any plan that we have. Unfortunately, we were thrown a curveball here with Toll Brothers and the funding. we approved this project based on a certain amount of funding, and COVID happens. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So, but yeah, so yeah, no action this month. I don't know if anybody else has any other thoughts. Anybody?
No, I'd still like to see you break out, though, the project into two sections, so with and without
We can do that.
Toll Brother participation.
Sure.
So that we can act upon it formally at the next meeting.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay, moving right along. Before you go over the summary on the water service projects, what's going on with the outflow monitor project? The company that we hired to take care of all of the commercial businesses with the outflows monitoring.
Yeah, the backflow. I think they are on hold right now. They're seeing the impact of the commercials. I haven't heard that they mailed out. Last I heard, he was going to mail in April, and I can update next month to see where we're at with that. But I think with the collapse here, he was recognizing the potential impact, and we said, let's just wait. So I don't think anything got sent out yet.
Okay. All right, you want to give me just a quick overview then on the?
Yeah. This is everybody has the water main extension, and a couple of the more important ones I'll highlight. Ashbridge at Furlong. That's the Grasso property. No real update on that. I think the township is trying to change the stipulated agreement, so it's still inching forward. There's been no real movement on that.
It's not inching,
All right, how about millimeters?
less than that.
So county builders, we are you'll see the apartments are going up. They look really nice. The Knoll property in New Britain Borough. We have continued to work with the developer. We're supplying the meter to him, and he's getting ready to turn water onto those buildings. They're not occupied yet, but once the water main is installed, we still, DTMA still works with the developers to make sure that water is, safely installed to their building.
How many units will be there, Keith?
I think all told, there's roughly 100, I think 120 maybe in this phase. And then he's building another building further in the back. So that's going to be a commercial and as well. And I thought he was going to put another maybe 20 or 30 apartments in. I could be wrong. So it's a lot.
Good project.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Tabor Village Phase 1 and Phase 2. I don't know if anybody drove through 611 there.
Yes.
They are breaking ground. So
Beyond that, Keith, they've cut down the woods. Hey, Barbara, are you there? Does the township have any kind of a provision requiring that trees be replaced? They have cut down the entire woods.
It's all in the land development plan. I haven't been part of, really in depth with this project because of the conflict. But yes, they're followed the land development plan. They have to restore the trees in another location. But all that tree cutting has been approved. I was not a part of it. I hate cutting down trees, but that's what happens with developments.
It's all followed, and I'm just going to jump in here because I sit with the planning commission and as zoning officer. All those plans complied with the township ordinances and were reviewed by the township planning consultant and our planning commission, and were approved accordingly.
There weren't any variances in that, were there, Stephanie? They were all.
I don't believe so. No.
Yeah. So that it was all done above.
And there's reforestation too, like you said.
Thank you. But I stayed out of it, guys, because of my family interest.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have a full set. So if you want to see the where trees will be replanted, we can certainly show you. I can show you.
Oh, they are going full force. They have cut down
Yes.
the forest. They've got
Yes.
all kinds of equipment sitting there. They have a temporary road at the stoplight, which makes sense. So they are proceeding, which is fine. My only concern was to drive by and all of a sudden a nude hill appears along Route 611.
Yeah, so I know Fred's been dealing with the engineer, so they are, we don't have a construction schedule yet for the water main extension. That'll come from phase one, but you may be driving by and seeing the water main going in too, so. Okay, other than that, jump into page, Wawa, we talked about it last meeting. And yeah, other than that, nothing, there's no real, nothing really out of the ordinary taking place right now. So, you know, construction has slowed a little bit, obviously, but you know, hopefully it starts picking up here. So, unless anybody has any other questions about this list. I do have a couple notes here before, if nobody does. I do not have anybody's statements of financial interest yet. I think they're due May 31st. So Deborah emailed to every board member the statement of financial interest. So, and it's a fillable PDF. I think we have Rich's. Fred, I don't know if I have yours, but if you could, it's all fillable PDF. It should take 2 minutes. If you could just send that back to us, we'll keep it on file, so we're good. The next meeting, I would like to get back to the township building. So I don't know how everybody feels about that. Maybe we can Zoom 1 or 2 people as well. But if anybody objects, just let me know. So I think it'll be. I think it's time. We can socially distance.
If there is nothing else, I would like to have the record show from the board a huge, again, thank you to Keith and his staff. At this point, you may not know, but Keith's staff is effectively on 24-hour notice to be ready. They are not working as in the past where they would meet in the morning and get an assignment. The guys are told they get their assignments on their own from Keith and go out and do their duty. But at the same time, each of them is effectively at home, ready to be called if necessary. And I think that we all, in effect, suffer through this stay-at-home thing, but for someone who is aware that he could very well be called out from a comfortable position at home, they are due, and from us, a huge thank you very much.
Yes, I'll second that, Mr. Chairman. Just to let everybody know, I didn't put it in the agenda, but last week was National Drinking Water Week. So Stephanie Mason was kind enough to buy pizza for our operators in conjunction with Public Works Week, I believe. So, these guys, they didn't miss a beat through this whole pandemic. They were out and, dealing with customers when needed and dealing with developers and contractors. So I give them a lot of credit. And then I'd also like to announce that our new operator has been officially hired. He's going to be starting the first week of July 8th, I believe. So we are very excited. I know we have he's a local kid. I think he's from Doylestown, went to CB West, I believe. So he's coming from the private sector operations company. So he's got a lot of experience, and he comes with a lot of high remarks. Very well, works good with the public. Our guys are very deal with the public a lot more than other operators do because we're a little smaller than our larger neighbors. So he's going to fit in great. I'm very confident, and we're excited. We got through this hiring issue, and so we're very happy. So
Keith, I believe the governor is making some announcements tomorrow.
Is beer league softball going to be opened?
It depends on what kind of beer you drink.
What kind of announcement do you anticipate, Rod?
I think some areas are going to move.
Before the official move to yellow, which was what, June 4th?
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I heard June 4th was going to be the yellow, unofficially. Yes, but maybe it's quicker. Hopefully.
All right. What's your source, Keith? Where'd you hear that? I'm not going to spread that rumor unless I know it can verify.
Oh, I thought it was publicized in the news, wasn't it? June 4th.
For Bucks County to go yellow?
Yeah.
I hear you're nodding your head.
Yes, yes.
Nodding your head.
Yes. I just,
Yes,
I have that date in my head.
Yeah, that's official.
Is it official? Okay, yeah.
I mean, I can't, show it to
Yeah.
you, but yes, that's what I've heard. Because our church is considering what we're doing, and that was the official date that they were saying. Not that it's going to help us any, but.
Right.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so I guess the commissioners wanted it and do want it before June 4th. So that's been the push to get everything open before June 4th. So.
Board meeting is on June 18th at 3:30 in the afternoon. If there are no other topics, meeting's adjourned.
Hey,
Have a
everybody.
good weekend, Nick.
Bye. Take
Happy
care.
holidays,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
We'll see you next month. We'll see you here.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Hey, Steph?
Yeah, hold on.